YouTube deleted our episode with Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. We broke no rules. We recently got it back because I went to war and I believe it got reinstated. But they deleted it 3 years after it aired. And then when they called me on the phone and said, we just want to let you know we took it down for medical misinformation. I said, bull fucking shit. That was 3 years ago and no one had any medical misinformation in it. I said, tell me where. I said, I can't. I'm like, because there was none. There was none and you're lying. They took down our episode. It was our biggest YouTube podcast that we had done. Yet these people who make shit up about Turning Point and Charlie, they let happen, even though it breaks the rules. So the question is why? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. The people who work at Google are largely progressive. They're in San Francisco. They want Trump to lose, and they aren't going to stop at Donald Trump not going to prison. They're going to say, what's the next play we have? And it's going to say, make sure we amplify as many lunatics who will make the right look retarded. And I called it. In 2016, 17, 18, all throughout the Gamergate and woke expansion, I said this, go watch the episodes of my morning show, this channel, and IRL. You have two children. You see a woman walking down the street with two kids. Two, 10-year-old boys. One is wearing a nice little dapper suit, looks stunning. The other is drenched in chocolate sauce and ice cream. His hair is all messy. And what do you think? You think, that's a problem child. That clean-cut kid, he's the good one, right? That's the assumption you make when you see it. The reality is, the parent doesn't let the clean-cut kid wear whatever he wants, and he's not allowed to have ice cream. So he only looks clean-cut because the parents don't let him. The messy kid, the parents say you can wear whatever you want, you can eat whatever you want. That's what was happening with the left. They were not censoring the most extreme of the left voices. So these lefties were coming out and screaming retarded shit like they wanted to give kids sex changes. The right, however, was censored in every capacity. So the only message you were getting was Ben Shapiro. The right then looked reasonable and moderate, and the wackaloons were suppressed. I think they finally woke the fuck up and said, holy shit, we need to actually censor the wackaloons on the left and not the right, so the right looks like retards. So they amplify Candace and people like Robby. I'm kidding.
I mean, look, Robby. Tim's a very authentic guy. I've known him since Occupy Wall Street. He's very genuine in his viewpoints. But I also think Candace comes across very genuine to me personally in actually knowing that we've been lied to in the past, and Charlie Kirk, the stuff that happened with Charlie Kirk and the videos and all the evidence we've seen didn't add up. So I actually do truly believe, like Milo, when Milo came on your show and said that she's being authentic, that's how it comes across to me, whether I'm partially retarded. Yeah, I mean, I am in certain.
It's not. Did you see the tweet she put out about Ben Shapiro?
I have not.
I'll pull this one up.
I think going through her background too and talking to sources,
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just think she has a pattern of destruction. Anyone who's a competitor, and I think a lot of it is personal. It might be genuine in the fact that it's personal, but it is purely rage-filled and vindictive from what I
haven't dug
gathered.
deep, but I do think unity is important, and I think I'd love Candace to come on right now and sit with Tim and everyone come together and everyone come together, because you don't want people like you said.
But conflict is more profitable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I love conflict, but at the same time, I want unity in the end for the light to win. I don't want the darkness to win.
You can't unify though with someone who has become such a deliberately destructive force.
Well, she just met with Erica Kirk.
But look what happened.
Yeah, but now she's totally flipped on it.
Pull this tweet up.
Let's see.
Every time Ben speaks, I feel more certain Israel is involved in 910Z. I love the little Z she had. You know what that is?
What is that?
Is Zog, Zionist. It's whatever. He's just way too invested in Charlie's. I mean, you could argue it's a typo, but the 0 and the Z are far away from each other, so maybe it's just she accidentally put a Z there. I don't know. She said, he's just way too invested in Charlie's murder. He never liked Charlie, and he's now suddenly pretending he had a duty to defend his legacy. Ben only cares about Israel's interests, so Israel is involved. The implication here is that Ben is aware Israel killed Charlie Kirk and is running cover for them. That is to say, she is accusing Ben Shapiro of being party to a conspiracy that murdered Charlie Kirk. You think that's genuine? You think that comes off as authentic? Bro, the leaps and bounds she made in this tweet alone.
Last week
Ben
it was
only
France.
likes Israel, therefore Israel is involved. Oh, shut the fuck. Oh my God.
No, I said she was genuine in the way she talks about Charlie when I've seen her talk about trying to find. I've never seen this tweet.
Great actor.
You want to hear me do a great advocacy for child sex change? I can make it happen.
I think people are fed up with, A lot of people are fed up with Israel because of AIPAC's involvement with, having a lot of influence.
How much money does APEC spend every year?
You tell me.
Do you know?
No, I haven't done the research.
Right. My point is this. It's a lot. There's different estimates. Some say about 8 million in direct political spending, but it's probably much higher than that in indirect political spending, maybe around 40 million. China spends 400. Okay. Should AIPAC register as a foreign agent? I would agree with that. I'd say if you're advocating for the interests of a foreign nation, register under FARA if you're doing that work. That's fine. I think we shouldn't be funding other countries' military to such a great extent. That includes Ukraine and Israel. We've given Ukraine more money in 2 years than we've given Israel in 50. The president of Ukraine came to our Congress and they all waved his flag. See, that I have a problem with. And when they come to me and say, what about Israel? I said, it's the same thing. I don't care what country it is. However, Candace plays this game. She knows that people are going to believe it when she says stupid shit. So if I'm sitting here reasonably and rationally looking at all the stuff related to Israel, I go, wow, look, there are Zionists in the United States. You guys know, I don't know, for people who don't know what it means, they believe that there should be a homeland for the Jews. There needs to be control of this land. Christian Zionists largely want this for the return of Jesus. Jewish Zionists want a homeland for Israel, but the Bible says a homeland for Israel. These people do exist. There are absolutely powerful interests in the United States, from media to politics, that want to advocate everything they can for Israel. It's true. And more so for many other countries. Does Israel control the United States? No. Do they have undue influence? Yes. The Saudis also have undue influence, and potentially more than Israel. It's hard to say where. But Trump, catering to these Saudi princes, because he wants to get them on the petrodollar contract. It expired, I think, earlier this year. And that puts the liberal world order at risk. Trump wants to go to them. The question is, why then does no one talk about that? Well, because that's the real threat. The real threat is if these conspiracy people who followed Candace spoke up against the Saudi interests in 9/11, perhaps. Do you know about that, Robby? Or oil, it could disrupt the U.S. petrodollar system. Complaining about Israel does nothing to change this machine. Does Israel control the World Bank? No. The IMF? No. Are they running the Davos Group? No. Do they control the oil contracts? No. What is the benefit the U.S. has with Israel? They make weapons. They provide intelligence in the Middle East. We want control of that area. And it provides great strength in the Suez Canal so that we control global trade. Because there's two things the U.S. does. We own oil and we own global trade. That's why we go and blow up pirates. That's why we sent a bunch of weapons to go bomb the Houthis, because they were targeting the Red Sea. We want control of the waterways. We want control of the oil. If these people who followed Candace started speaking out against, I don't know, Saudi involvement in 9/11, maybe? Do you know about that, Robby? Families actually sued the Saudi government.
Look, I'm fed up with, I think people are fed up with the government funding all these other countries. You go to parts of LA, you go to the airports. We should be taking care of our homeland with the money.
Are you saying, though, Tim, that you think that Candace's current, and actually longstanding conspiracy orientation is a way of inoculating her conspiracy-minded viewers against what their real focus should be, the things that you're talking about?
I'm not saying it's intentional.
I just think that's a little too calculated for what's really going on here, which is that we've got a woman with a raw animal intelligence but a very untrained mind who doesn't have guardrails, and she just pings back and forth from conspiracy to conspiracy.
Of course. This is a mistake people make with conspiracies. The news organizations don't need to force writers to write things. ABC News doesn't go to a man and say, if you work for us, you're going to write the fake stories we want you to write. It doesn't exist. They don't go to journalists and say, how would you like to get paid to write fake stories on with the CIA? It doesn't happen. Rarely. I think it happened once or twice. You know what they really do? They sit down for an interview with someone like Robby and they say, what do you think about the Jews? And then he goes, I hate them. And they go, would you like a job? I don't need to tell you what to do. I got two people here.
I love everyone.
Over here, you come to me and say, listen, what is true, and I'm here to report the truth. And I go, that's so valiant. I'll call you back. I'll let you know. This guy says, I hate Trump. He's bad. And Jews control things. And I go, would you like a job? That's how it works. So Candace Owens doesn't need to be involved in anything. All that needs to happen is someone tells her, hey, look at this story. Then YouTube goes, why don't we put her on the front page? You put her on the front page. You know, it's funny. I talked about this a year ago. It's called, what did I call it? How you mind break someone is very easy. I'm not going to name this person. I haven't named him, but there's a fitness influencer. They used to talk about doing push-ups, doing pull-ups, how many meters you need to run every day. Now what do they talk about? What do you think they talk about now?
Oh no.
Candace Owens stuff?
The Jews.
Oh, yeah.
You know why? It's real easy. I can go on YouTube and I can run an ad on any video I want. I can take your video on YouTube and I can run it as an advertisement. You won't know what that is or why. All you'll see on your back end is views skyrocketing. And you'll be like, wow, I don't know why this is happening. And you'll get paid for it. Or I can run ads on your video so your revenue is really high, higher than normal. So you find a fitness influencer and he's like, I'm going to do 20 push-ups right now and I'm going to show you proper technique. And he's like, ugh, and then that's it. Then October 7th happens. What do? First method is spam blast the comments. For $5 on Fiverr, you say, I need 100 comments saying Israel. I want you to ask him what he thinks about it because October 7th is so shocking. So he sees all these comments and he goes, man, people are really asking me. I don't really know. And so he's like, I guess I'll make a video about it. He makes a video and he says, look, guys, I know you've been asking me a lot about this. I'm just a fitness guy. I think it's really terrible what happened. And, I wish for peace. I pray for peace. What happens then? That video, they then blast with bots to give it 100,000 views and a bunch of comments saying, I love you. Thank you so much for addressing this. I think you're wrong. However, take a look at this link. Did you hear about Israel did here? He sees all these comments and he goes, oh, whoa. He sees how many views he gets. So then what happens next week? I'll do another one. I'll address it. He makes another video. This time he says, man, it's kind of feeling like a genocide. I mean, I'm seeing these things because he's getting spam blasted in the comments. Fast forward 2 months later, a fitness influencer now is just talking about the Jews because he's making money, he's getting views, and he's bigger than he's ever been. That's how you mind break people.
But the bots are a big part of this too.
Oh, yeah.
It's confusing everyone as to what is actual human interaction and what is paid artificial, injection.
I can't imagine
perspective and opinion, right?
Yes, there's many different ways to control the system, and I can't imagine shows like mine can exist if the machine state gets back on track. Because explaining the methodology behind mental manipulation, the bot accounts, dead internet, all of these things certainly is bad. Now it's possible. I've explained this before as well, that the shows I do are pressure release valves. The people who are smart enough to see through it get frustrated. Yeah. They ask themselves, how is it possible that the machine state gets away with all of these things? So what do? They allow a Tim Pool to exist, but only in a certain amount, so that the people who are looking for these answers find them, but can't actually do anything about it. This is called the tiny room shadow ban. We are all in a room where we are recognizing the truth before our eyes, and we feel like we're getting something done, but all it really is the establishment machine state in control, turning the pressure release so that we calm down a little bit. Because when people get agitated and feel like there's no future, they go nuts.
It's depressing.
Anyway.
I mean, I think your episode with Alex Jones, the machine state, I think it would still be banned if Trump didn't win. But I also think a lot of diehard Trump supporters are actually upset the way he handled the Epstein case. And
agreed, 100%.
And so that's also dividing people. And then when you tweet about Rob Reiner that, people don't like that way he's talking about Rob Reiner when someone dies.
Agreed. I completely agree. Why do you think it is that Trump didn't want to release the Epstein files?
Protecting powerful people.